Right here.
Here.
Thank you. You can either grab that chair or you can sit in the comfy chair. The Flex is right there. It's fully powered, so.
Okay. Oh, your Flex looks different than mine.
Does it?
Oh, wait, hang on. Liz has my Flex now.
Yeah, you just haven't seen it in a little while.
But mine was more silver than black, so.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Ooh, does this recline?
Yes, you just push it back.
Yeah. Okay, I called Meredith back, and she's uploading a file for me, and I have to dial into her.
Okay, no problem.
But I had messaged you about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She called right before, like, the doctor walked in.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
I had my pants off.
Oh Lord.
It wasn't long, but everything's good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
She said everything is structurally sound.
That is always a good thing to hear.
What's your password for your computer?
Huh?
What's the password for your computer?
112109.
Take my shoes off.
Yeah, get comfy.
Does Zoom start automatically with this computer, or am I going to have to open it up?
No, you probably have to open it up.
And then I'm gonna need the code to get in. I usually take it from your email and put it in the notes
Oh,
of our, on the calendar so that I can access it easily.
yeah, I didn't put it in, this morning was just such a, I didn't put the meeting details in.
Skype.
No.
But are people in the meeting already?
Yeah, 24 are, but I'm going to post it anyway for.
Well, can I get on your Skype to get it there so I can just copy it?
Yeah. Good morning, my wonderful students. How are you all today? Can you hear me? Yes? No? Yes? Leslie, can you hear me? All right, great. Thank you. I am so proud of all of you. I know that you know that I have been going over grades and dictations, and you guys are rocking it. Really, seriously, you're doing a really, really great job. I am very pleased. I'm very grateful for how hard you're working. I did not get to spend more time this morning looking at all of the numbers. I don't have any new numbers for you all, but I know a lot of you were concerned because you were of the impression that you had finished all your dictations, but I had not mentioned your name yet. And remember that that's probably because you might have done some substitutions. And so I'll need you to send me your worksheet so that I can know what you substituted for what, so that I can let you know that you're done. As I said in the Skype chat yesterday, you have until the 17th to finish your dictations. You have until the 17th to redo any exams you want to do. So if you want to redo any dictations, feel free. If you want to redo any exams, feel free. If you are wondering what scores I have for you, send me your worksheet and I will copy the grades I have for you and paste them into your worksheet and send it back to you. That way we will all be on the same page. You know, I am not in any way, shape, or form anywhere near perfect. I make mistakes. So that's why I have you keep your grades so that I can compare your grades to mine, so that if they're not accurate, I can go to the source and find out what the correct grades are. So when you feel that you're done, do send me your worksheet and I'll go ahead and get that done for you. Mitch, you want a headset?
Actually, I'm just going to mute the computer.
Since you can hear me. Michelle is actually here with me today, so I'm hearing myself coming out of her computer too.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay, good. Okay, so today we are going to talk about styles. And I wanted to real quick go and see if I have a completed transcript, which I think I do. Here we go. I don't. Okay, this isn't the one I wanted. Okay, so what you're seeing, what you should be seeing, yes, you are seeing it, is a transcript. For those of you who are already, you've already been typists and transcriptionists, this is very familiar to you. For those of you who have never done any transcription, this is maybe very new to you. When I am going to create a style, I actually get a transcript from whoever I'm creating a style for, and I go through the transcript, and primarily it's the cover pages. I call cover pages anything in front of the preceding section. The preceding section is where there's questions, answers, and speakers, okay? So the cover pages basically are addressing what is this about, who's it about, and everything that changes, you can see on this form here, is surrounded by the greater than and less than symbols. Everything that is surrounded by these symbols ends up being what we call a replacement field on the job screen. And you fill that out, and then when you finalize in Transcriptionist, it merges what you typed into the job screen and the actual cover pages of the document. It merges it for you. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to try to explain this from the Transcriptionist screen so that you understand it. Okay, so when we click on new job, we've been using the real-time coach style because we've been doing dictations. But now we're going to talk about what you're actually going to see on the job. When you are taking a job, when you're actually going to be transcribing a job, you're going to go to this new job screen and you're going to click on the drop down next to style, and you're going to choose one of these styles. Now, please know, after class, when you get assigned to your job posting, you will be told, well, okay, this is a criminal matter, this is a criminal appeal, this is a civil matter. All of these styles should fit your needs. If they don't, and you need another style, please contact me, because you get a free style with your transcriptionist software. And I am happy to do a free style for you should you need it. You may not need it because we've done a great many styles, but if you do, please know I'm happy to create that style for you. Today, we're going to talk about creating styles. So when you're creating the new job, you select the style that is appropriate for the job that you're going to do that day. And then over here, right under where you selected the style, you will see job replacement fields. And these are the things that you will fill out before you do finalize where it merges, okay? So we'll come back to this later, but I just wanted you to understand what replacement fields are and why we need them. So I'm going to cancel out of here. From my main menu, I'm going to click on Edit and Edit Styles. That's going to bring up my style dialog, my Manage Styles dialog. And there'll be so many styles. For you guys, it's only TNT. For me, it's all sorts of styles. Okay, so didn't mean to do that. So here are all the styles. Now, if ever you want to create a style yourself, and let's say that you work for family court, but someone in your office tells you, well, that's okay, but this is a specific kind of family court style, and we need you to tweak it a little bit. Well, no problem. If you want to make a new style for family court, that's going to be a little bit different, but it's for family court. So a lot is going to be the same. Over here, right to the right of that X, is the Copy Style button. If we click on Copy Style, it will create copy of whatever we had highlighted. Whatever style we had highlighted, we will now have something called copy of. You always look at the C's because it's always copy of. And then you can click on the yellow folder to open that style, the copy of. And then the first thing I would do is delete the words copy of, and I would add to that. Let's say family court, I'll just call it divorce. That way we know that it's still family court, but it's different than our original family court style. So we're going to go over the important aspects of a style. First and foremost, on the General tab, you will see a display set. And currently the display set is set at TNT, which stands for Trinidad and Tobago, Courier New 12 single space. Now, if it's not single space, you may want to create a new display set. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for the most part, you're going to be using the Courier New 12 single space. There are other options, but that's the only one we have created for TNT because that is what we were told to do. Now, over here, right under display set, you will see timestamps or time of day. That means the time of day, meaning right now it would be 9:12 for me, 10:12 for you, right? That would be the time of day. And then the next option is Timestamps are 24-hour. That's like military time. It's not after 12 o'clock, it's 13, then 14, then 15, then 16 through 24 instead of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Very few people use the 24-hour time of day. Timestamps in real time and scope, if you want to see your timestamps, you would click on this box to turn them on. Markers add punctuation. This is always checked, and this is what provides that at the end of every question, you have a question mark, and at the end of every answer, you have a period. And that's automated by when you say QCO, it puts a period at the previous answer. And when you say ACO, it puts a question mark at the previous question. It's just automated. The next one has to do with captioning. We're not going to discuss that. The next one is important. Use speaker to configuration. But that's about most of the time when you use a speaker, that speaker is in colloquy. Do you understand what I mean when I say colloquy? That means that speakers are speaking with each other. So Mr. Jones may be speaking, and he's speaking to Mr. Brown, and they are going back and forth. That's called colloquy. Well, when you are talking to, when there's an attorney talking to a witness, that's Q&A normally. The attorney being the Q, the witness being the A. When you go from one attorney examining to the other attorney examining, that goes examination to cross-examination, right? So when we use speaker to, instead of it saying Mr. Brown, colon, and the text, it will say by Mr. Brown. And that is telling the reader that there's a change of speaker in the questioning, okay? So use speaker to configuration is represented by COL, meaning that's the speaker in colloquy, and BY, meaning that is when you are switching from one speaker to another, going from direct to cross, cross to recross, things like that. Okay, we don't need to discuss the real-time settings, hard disconnect, or open mic. Everything on the right is for captioning. So we'll move on to speakers. The speakers field is simply for if you have the same speakers all the time. So for instance, always speaker 1 is the court for me. Always speaker 2 is going to be the prosecutor. Now, I'll probably represent the prosecutor by his name, Mr. Jones. But right now, I'm talking to you. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking about players, meaning you would put the prosecutor's name there. So this is just to remind you where the names may go. In item 3, that is always the defense counsel for me. Speaker number 4 is always the witness for me. And then what I generally will do is on speaker 6 and speaker 7, I will do the prosecutor again. And the defense counsel again.
I'll have to go through the list, but first of
And
all,
then over on the right, I select the word by. That way,
you should be the one requesting the
that way I have the ability to say if the prosecutor is speaking in colloquy and then he goes all of a sudden to like let's say we're switching from the prosecutor to the defense counsel, I would say SB7 representing the defense counsel so that it would say by the defense counsel or by Mr. Brown, who is the defense counsel. Normally there could be a bailiff that could be speaking in. There could be a juvenile officer.
Yeah. Even the request for a code, because we don't know
or other things. This is not mandatory, it's optional.
Okay.
Untranslates, we're gonna skip for now. Speaker formatting. Okay, so this is how you determine speaker formatting. This is very simple once you understand it. So here we go. You will notice down here in the orange section that this is where we see the results of the choices we've made. So let's say that, well, here you can see that there is an indent, and that is an indent of 5.5 inches, which equals 5 spaces. And then there's also a hanging indent, and that is also half an inch or 5 spaces. There is no right indent. There are 4 tabs before the speaker, and that's why the speaker's all the way over here. And then there is 1 tab after the speaker, you see here. Let's say we wanted to switch that to only 2 spaces. Then we would have the spaces after checked, and we would have the number 2, and then we would click on apply. Now I want you to watch right here where it says John Smith : and there's a tab. If I hit apply, see, it changes to 2 spaces because I removed the tab after and put 2 spaces in instead. And then I do have over here symbol following text, and though it is very difficult to see, there is a colon in that. That is how we get the colon after John Smith here. So if your court did not want that colon, you would simply come and deselect the colon. Let's say they wanted something after the text, but they didn't want the colon. Maybe they want a period. Well, you would backspace over the colon and put a period in there, and you would be done, and you would hit apply, and it would have a period instead of the colon. See here? Now, I know that that's not the way you want it, so I'm going to put the colon back and hit apply, and there we go. So that is how the speaker formatting works. Let's go to speaker 2 configuration now. Now remember, this is for the byline. So you see right here, it says by John Smith. Now, this is indented. Normally, a byline is not indented. So I'm going to make it look like this. And this is normally what a byline looks like. That doesn't mean it is what's right for you. What your court says is right for you is what's right for you. So all of these styles that I've created were based on things I was sent. That doesn't mean that they're perfect and they're always right. If there's something wrong, by all means, let me know and I'll correct it. But also, if you get a request to change it, this is how you would change it. Everything else is the same. You have the ability to bold the text, to underline the text, to create a new line before and a new line after, to capitalize it. Normally, the way you type it in to the transcriptionist program is the way it's going to come up. Okay, let's move on to Q&A formatting. Very good question. RQ does not have a dot at the end. Okay, so how do you do that? That's a great question. So here we are in the Q&A. Currently, we're using an indent of 5 spaces or 0.5 inches. We have 1 tab before. Oh, it looks like we have 2 tabs before. I guess the indent, it doesn't count the indent because we were using 2 tabs before and we're using 1 tab after. Now, if you wanted to put the dot after the Q, up here, symbol following text, and you just put a period in there, and then we hit apply, and there's our dot after the Q. Simple as that. And you can remove it and add it at your heart's content. All you really have to do is uncheck it and apply to make it go away. If you've left the period in there, then you can check it and apply and you're good. Oh, no, but it looked like it didn't stay in there. So I have to put the period back if I want it in there. Apply and okay. Again, you still have the option to bold if you want. And whatever happens to the Q happens to the A. They are identical. So there's something that I'll tell you about, though I haven't seen it in your transcripts. Canada does this, and Canada is a British territory, or was at one time a British territory, and they do a lot of things like the Brits, and a lot of places that were British territories do. So Canada requires that their questions be numbered. And the reason is they're only allowed to ask 50 questions in a deposition. That's why they're numbered, so that you can see how many questions they've asked.
I'm answering the
And
question.
if I do apply, you'll see that over here on the left, that pound sign represents where the number will be, should you decide to number your questions. And it's just as easy as that. If it's checked, you click on apply, the number is going to show up. If I uncheck it and I click on apply, that little number sign's gone and the questions will not be numbered. Now we're going to move on to custom formatting. Custom formatting allows you to decide that there's something you want to put in, like a parenthetical, for instance. Maybe there's a parenthetical that is very common, something that you use a lot, like counsel conferred with witness. Something like that, or with the witness. Period. And I could say, okay, well, I want this to show up. I want there to be 3 tabs before. I want it to be bolded. So apply. Let's see what that looks like. So it would look like this. Now we can do new line after, but here's the problem with doing new line after. Normally, right after a parenthetical, there is a Q, an A, or a speaker. And every time you use a Q, an A, or a speaker, it inserts a new line. So if you have new line after selected, you will then have 2 blank lines between the parenthetical and your speaker or Q marker. So we normally don't use new line after, because by default there is a new line after. So you can use, the main reason we have custom formatting is it allows us to add tabs or indents or things like that with a specific text that we want to see come up. You have custom 2 and custom 3 that you can use to do the same thing with. They work identically. Now we get to replacement fields. Now I'm going to ask you to remember back to when we were looking at the new job screen. And I said, these are your replacement fields. And remember, the replacement fields are going to be everything that should be replaced in our template. So, see, like one of the things that I would replace is the case number, plus the applicant name, the respondent name, the charge, the type of hearing, the day held at, the date, the name of the judge, the name of the attorneys. All of these things are represented here in the replacement fields. Now, to add a replacement field is very simple. We click on add and we type in what we want to put in that field. So let's say that we wanted the day of the week. I would just click on add, and it would automatically, I'm going to close, would automatically put it all the way at the bottom, the day of the week here. Now let's say I wanted to move it up. I would highlight it and just use this arrow on the left, and it's going to move it up. Let's say that I want it all the way up, maybe right underneath the actual date, like here. Then I would move it till it gets to the right place, and I'm done. That's how to add a replacement field. Now, let's go to the next tab, which is layout and includes. And here's where we tell transcriptionists, listen, for this style, I want you to use this cover page. So when we click on browse, it takes us to where all of our cover pages live, which is under transcriptionist include. And I have many, many, many. I'll get back. Okay, so here are all the TNT cover pages. And I would literally just go and select the one that I want. You can see that the one that I currently have selected is TNT Family Court Cover, which is right here. And so I would literally just click on it and click on open. And then if you want to actually see the file, you click on open. And here we are in the Family Court of Trinidad and Tobago. Case number, here's the petitioner, here's the respondent, proceedings heard, here's the magistrate. Now, everywhere you see asterisk, the word case, open paren, then close paren asterisk, that is the name. What you see in the middle of that is the name of the replacement field. Remember, we just created the replacement fields. So how do we insert a replacement field into this cover page? We click on Insert, Case Fields, and then we go and select, let's say, Name of Magistrate, and there it is. And whatever is placed in the Name of Magistrate field in your new job screen will appear here after you finalize and merge them. So we've got an index, we've got proceedings commenced at with the start time, and that's our cover page. Always save your changes. Let's go look at what pages are behind the proceedings. That's what we call the cert. We're going to open that. And here is your declaration verifying the transcript. So there's the name of the transcriber. That's you. And you can see that, again, we're using case fields to bring in certain information that needs to be on this page. And so you're not having to ever go look for information. You fill out that information on the job screen, and when you finalize, it's going to bring it all in for you. So you're not searching and wondering, where is this, where is that? It's all going to come in for you. So that's our cert page. The indexes we discussed last week, and this is where we tell transcriptionists what we want list 1 to be, list 2, list 3, 4, and 5. The attachments tab is only for if you need to attach a certain form for whatever reason. Normally, we only use this for people that utilize WordPerfect instead of Microsoft Word. So none of you will probably ever use this. Let's go to the Present tab. This is where we tell transcriptionists that we are going to want to go to Word, to Microsoft Word, when we're done. in the transcriptionist application. We're going to dump the final into Microsoft Word. Using the present font, this is kind of neat. Let's say that we talked about display sets early on and how we could create a display set for seeing the text larger than it actually is while we're doing our transcriptionist, while we're dictating and while we're correcting and editing, so that the text is larger. Well, if we use a display set that has a bigger font, we can come in here and say, listen, we always want the font to be Courier New, we want it to be single spaced, and we want it to be size 12. And what that's going to do is, no matter what your font size and choice was in the scope field, when you move to Word, it's going to change it to Courier New 12 single space, so that it's always exactly right the way the court wants it. Okay? Additional formatting, you are not going to use any of this. In video capture, you're not going to use that. So that is the style feature. It's not difficult. There's just a lot to it. And because your styles are already created for you for the most part, you don't really have to create any styles, but I like you to know how to create a style should you ever need to create a style, okay? Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, in Dragon, we're going to go over learn from specific documents. So I'm going to just go into the scratch pad here. Remember, the scratch pad is like working with Dragon itself. So you're not creating a job just to go and do something that you normally do with Dragon.
Somebody messaging you directly?
Huh?
Somebody messaging you directly?
Is someone messaging me directly? Or did you?
No, I'm just asking. Because
Oh.
I keep hearing your noise, but I'm not getting any messages. So.
Oh. No, I don't see that anyone has. Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, I'm just waiting for my speech engine to come up. While we're waiting for that, I think that there are only 9 of you who still are having exams to turn in, but for the most part, I just want to let you all know that for the most part, you guys are all on target. There's a few of you that are behind for one reason or another, but I have every hope that you will catch up to everyone else. Let me find my, no. Now, in order to do learn from specific documents, we're going to click on this symbol here, add words from documents. Oh, initialization is still ongoing.
Did you open your Dragon user?
No, that's the problem. It never came up. Okay, I'm going to exit out and go back in because
Why don't you just right click on it and go to Task Manager and see if that's
I did, but it didn't have 2 of the UI automation servers. Just had the
Maybe explain what's happening. Maybe explain to them what's happening.
Oh, um, what's happening is that my Dragon user profile never appeared. And so I am going to end the task. And to do that, I do Control-Alt-Delete. And that brings up a screen that I can choose Task Manager. And then it comes up and gives me this. And I can literally click on transcriptionist and in the task, which I've already done. So I'm going to go back and reopen it. And I'm going to click on Scratchpad. Comes up and it tells me that it's opening the engine, that I should wait. Okay, Dragon's not even opening. Okay, so Control-Alt-Delete, Task Manager, and Transcriptionist may show up as SpeechCat for you. So I'm going to click on SpeechCat. First, I'm going to go and see if Dragon's there yet, but it wasn't there a minute ago. Here's Dragon, but it's only the 32-bit. I'm going to go ahead and end the task on Dragon. And I'm going to end the task on Transcriptionist, which is listed as SpeechCat. And anytime this happens, what I do is I then, if I'm having trouble opening Dragon, I go to Dragon directly. So I'm going to open Dragon by itself.
I'm answering the chat.
Hmm?
I'm answering the chat.
That was a good question, Laura.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Oh, I just accidentally closed.
What, Mitch?
I'm talking to myself. I thought I had closed out of the meeting.
Oh. The dragon really seems stuck this morning.
It might be a good thing that this happened.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to run a dragon repair because my dragon is not opening. It's just stuck. So I'm going to do Control-Alt-Delete. Go to Task Manager. And I will end the task Dragon for Windows.
And are there any other things listed there that say dragon?
No. Michelle was asking, are there any other things in the task manager that say dragon? Because if there were, then we would want to click on that and end the task. So this, instead of covering learn from specific documents, what we're going to cover instead is how to repair dragon. And actually, it's a very good thing to cover because eventually dragon is going to misbehave. And repairing dragon does not cost you your speech files. You can still do a dragon repair and your speech files can be fine. Now, all of you should have in your documents, you should have a folder called AudioScribe Stuff. And in that folder, you should have your Dragon 15 your Dragon 15 program, which I do not have, so I'm gonna have to go and copy it. Do you think it would matter if I'd run it from the S drive?
Is it gray or is it green? When you look at the icon. Because if it's green, if it's gray, it has to down. You don't have it in your important, it's not in your download folder?
No. I thought I did.
You don't have the important executables folder in your downloads or documents?
I usually did, but I cleaned it up a few weeks ago because my computer was filling up. So
this one's not full, by the way.
Yeah, that one I don't use that one as much. This one has, all the videos and stuff.
I'm running the diagnostic scan because your video card doesn't work.
My what?
Video card. Like I was gonna get on video and it doesn't work. Okay.
The camera's not working. Thank you, Leslie. I'm okay.
Just tell me alert, it's me.
Oh, it's not really transferring very quickly at all.
Do you want to get on this one? See if it's on this computer.
Look in downloads. See if it's
It might be easier.
downloads or documents.
It is here. You want to give me a flash drive? That's going to be faster than.
And transferring from the server?
Yep.
Okay. What's probably on one of these flash drives? I didn't even think of that.
Probably on every one of my flash drives.
I know. Here, look at this one. I think it might be on this one, but I'll check. Ooh.
No, it's not on this one. Don't remove it.
It's on this one. Let me see if I can run it. Okay. All right. So I've double clicked on the Dragon executable. I'm going to click on install and make sure that you're seeing that. It's going to come up at some point and say, do you want to modify, repair, or remove? Thank you, Kellyanne. I'll try that honey and apple cider. I think I have both. Michelle's mother really believed in apple cider. So apple cider, I'm going to write that down.
Is it apple cider or is it apple cider vinegar?
It's apple cider, she said, and vinegar mixture. I'm going to try that. Wow.
What does it say?
It says that the file can't be accessed from this by the system, but it's not true because
How about if you
it's running.
Oh.
Okay, let me close Word. If you have Microsoft Word open, it'll come up and ask you to close it. And just do retry once you close it.
Because you're 1503, you can't repair. You have to uninstall and reinstall.
Michelle has a very good point. She says that with 15.3, which is the version we all have, we cannot repair it. We have to remove it and then reinstall it. So I'm going to go ahead and go with remove instead of repair. And I'm going to click on next. Now it's asking, do you want to remove speech files in this installation? I am not going to check that because I do not want to remove my speech files. So I'm going to I'm going to remove the program, but not the speech files. This is why I always want you to keep your Dragon Naturally Speaking installation and your transcriptionist installation on your computer, because things will happen, things that are beyond your control. So it's good to know how to uninstall and reinstall. So it's saying that the UI automation server and FlexNet are open. Do you want to automatically close and attempt to restart applications? Yes, we do want to do that. So we're going to click on OK. It says that the setup was unable to close all requested applications. So I'm going to go to Control-Alt-Delete and make sure that the Dragon automation server here, in that task. I'm going to see if it'll keep on going now. Dragon takes a while to uninstall and to install. So just be patient. I tell you that, but I'm not very patient myself. Okay, finish. What's that? Yeah. No, he's snoring. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. I've uninstalled Dragon, and I'm going to go back to my executable, and I'm going to double click on it again. And install. Now I know that there are instructions for learn from specific documents, and we may have already even gone through that. But if you need any additional help with that, there is a video on doing learn from specific documents, I believe, and I will post that for you in our Skype thread so that you still can go watch it if you need to. It's very simple. Mostly installing Dragon is a matter of letting Dragon do the hard work, and you sit here and you just click on next, I accept, next, and then you do have to put in your number, when your Dragon number, when you're reinstalling. And so it is good to have it. Keep in mind that on your worksheet, there is an information page, and that is where your Dragon serial numbers are. So it's real important that you have access to that. And you all do, but you all want to keep that in a place where you can access it no matter where you are with your computer. Okay, so I'm going to put in my serial number. Oops. You do not have to put in the dashes. It's just going to progress to the next space after you type in what you need. Oops. And next. Now, you guys remember we selected all English regions. Normally for people in the United States, I select US only, but because you're not never sure which one is going to work when it's an English speaker outside of the US, I encourage you to choose all English regions and click on next. And here it's saying install to, you want to let it install to the default location. And then you're just going to click on install and wait. And it's going to do its thing here. Thank you, Kellyanne. I appreciate the details. I'm going to make note of that. Tablespoon of honey. A teaspoon. And apple cider vinegar. What's that? Yeah. Okay, finally, finish. Now this may come up. You can just say remind me in 7 days and click on OK. Now, after you install the executable, remember that we don't use Dragon 15, we use Dragon 15.3. And so in that same folder, you should have the hot fix, which I do not have. And it looks like this, DPI 15.3.exe. So I'm going to double click on that to run it. It's going to come over here and give you this. You can just click on OK. And then you'll see this. And then you will see this. Thank you. And then you click on update and it's going to update it.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
You had someone in here.
Oh, Michelle's here. My class is almost over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you need me?
I just wanted to ask, since Crystal's being so ridiculous about refilling my history, I need to go to the HAS walk the clinic whenever and just request to see Lorraine.
Okay.
I'll tell her that I got my blood results.
Okay.
And see if I can send them over.
Okay.
See what she can do.
Sounds great.
Okay. Sorry.
Just no problem. Okay, it's still working. As you can see, this is more an exercise in patience than anything else. It's certainly not hard. And we do have instructions, by the way, should you need to reinstall, if you need that. Remember, one other thing that I want to remind you of is that when you're in the course and you're opening up some of the PDF documents, you can save those documents to your computer for future reference. So for instance, anything that looks like this, anything that has that PDF symbol, Dragon Naturally Speaking, Install, Register, Activate Printable Instructions. When you open those instructions, notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's a save button, and you can save it to your documents so that after the class, if ever you need to make reference, you'll have those instructions. So that's just a little suggestion. I'll finally finish. Now I'm going to go and open Dragon, because once you've reinstalled it, the only thing I would like for you to do is make sure that you go to it's going to ask you to activate it. So activate product, next. It's going to make you double check your serial number. When you get the green check, all is good. You click on launch. It's going to open your user profile dialog so that you can select your user profile and click on open. And you can see that it's loading.
Andrew, they're asking if they'll have access to ACE after the class finishes on the 17th.
You will have access until the end of July. July 31st will be your last access date for ACE. But I want to give you a few weeks just to go in and relook at things without the pressure of class. That way you can go and look around and make, save any of the documents that you want to save, and, all of that. So you'll have to have all of your exercises and your dictations done, but you will still have access to it. So you can still go, and you'll have access to the videos of this class and previous classes for forever. There really is no cutoff date for you being able to access the video of the classes, okay? So I want to just show you that the only other thing I'd like for you to make sure you do is go to Profile, Manage Dictation Sources, and you're going to select your Sound Blaster Play 3, and you're going to click on Select, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Once it loads the user profile successfully, you can click on Profile and exit Dragon, and you're done. So that's what I'm going to do. Profile, save user, profile, exit Dragon, and now you're good. So I know I've taken up 15 more minutes than I had a right to today. Thank you for being patient with me, and I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate the work that you guys have been doing. Sincerely, I'm so, so proud of you. I will be spending more time updating all of the dictations and the exams and all of that today. And I will continue to congratulate you all on your great, great work via our Skype thread. So if you need anything, as always, just get in touch with Michelle or I, and we'll be available for you. Tomorrow is a holiday in the U.S. It's the 4th of July. So while I may be slow to respond, I will most likely still be responding to you. Michelle is having a big party, so she's going to be busy. But I don't think I'm going to be able to attend, as it's going to be very hot. So I'll be able to answer your questions should you need me. You guys have a great, great afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. See you next week. Bye-bye.